As far as the chaos we find ourselves in these days, it's difficult to say which side pulled the trigger first. Erusea deployed an automatic intercept system with drones. Erusea implemented long-range attacks to bypass them. So Erusea decided to sabotage Erusea's communications and navigation technology. Erusea couldn't launch a satellite themselves, but they were still able to hack the software of the Erusean transmission and navigation systems. Before Erusea even noticed, half of their satellites were hijacked. That's when things got ugly. In an attempt to knock out each other's capabilities, both forces launched fighters loaded with anti-satellite missiles at the same time. Only military satellites were targeted. However, their destruction created a debris field in orbit, which wiped out scores of other satellites, both private and government-owned. What kept the world relatively sane up to that point had been free-flowing data and information. But now, those were gone. All that remained was chaos and confusion. Government and civilian broadcasts and transmissions were cut off. The flow of information had ceased. Forces on both sides of the conflict now found themselves unable to communicate with their superiors. Many of the smaller countries annexed by Erusea and yearning for their independence seized the opportunity and started their own uprisings. As for why some of Erusea's military decided to break off from the main force and continue on their own, I have no idea. Perhaps there was some sort of dispute over the chain of command. The continent that had once seen wars that were only fought between Erusea and Erusea was now full of numerous conflicts between rival leaders vying for power. Insurgencies were everywhere. I even heard a rumor that a group of Erusean convicts had rebelled. Rumors. It never ceased to amaze me that even at a crazy time like this, something as trivial as a rumor could find its way here. Communications from corporate were cut off. Apparently, the entire computer network was down. It was a wise decision to make our drones autonomous with AI instead of being radio-controlled. Wise and forward-thinking. Even with their GPS offline, they can still use their sensors to navigate as long as they're working properly. I'm sure the drones are still working perfectly, following their mission orders to the letter. I wish I could upload Mihai's new data to them. But without a connection, I can't upload the software to the active drones. The new ones we're making, though, there should still be enough time to upgrade those before they're activated. I'll be taking the data I've acquired away from the front lines now. Oh, and I'll be taking the girls, too. I told my assistant Masa it was time to get Mihai's granddaughters ready to leave here. She's not much older than the girls, but she has a way about her, and I'm sure she won't have any trouble with them. I saw a plane flying off in the distance. I imagine it was looking for a safer place. The plane had a rose emblem on it.
Everything sucks now.
Erusea's communication networks have been down since their satellites were destroyed. Unfortunately, we are experiencing trouble too. All of Erusea has been affected, and we don't know when things will be back up and running. We're not even sure if this is Erusea's doing. Still, we will follow the strategy that was originally planned and move on to the next operation after liberating Farbanti. Let's get to it. Since the war began, we've been receiving communications in secret from an officer in the Erusean army.
With the capital under our control, Erusea's radical element is losing support quickly, affecting the balance of power.
HQ is thinking of using the military officer as a way to gain leverage to settle peace negotiations. The officer is currently hiding in the outskirts of Anchorhead Bay, having joined up with support dispatched from the Erusean army. The plan is that they'll take a standard vehicle to a rendezvous point at a harbor in the east part of the city, where a helicopter will be waiting.
I would like the new Strider Squadron to provide escort for the officer. Cyclops will remain at the base on standby to serve as defense.
With the communication network currently down in the capital, I very much doubt Erusea will be able to mount a regimented counterattack. However, it is likely that Erusea's intelligence department and the remaining forces who are aware of the officer's movements will interfere. Keep a close eye on the officer and make sure he stays safe. Our victory in Farbanti has given us a golden opportunity to finally end this war. Be safe out there.
Take note that our satellite-based IFF has become unreliable following the recent communications failure. As such, target ID will be done by processing the images from the infrared cameras on your aircraft. Objects will initially appear as unknown on your HUDs, but will be ID'd once you close in on them for a set period of time.
So yeah, this is where Ace Combat 7 really starts to live up to its title, I suppose.
This is where things go completely crazy.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, just big giant fuck off escort mission for some guy in like a literal SUV, and just no idea of what the hell we are expecting from this point forward. So yeah, strap in, it's gonna get interesting.
Taking the Typhoon, I see.
Yeah, probably a mistake at this point in the game, but like I've literally run out of other planes to show off, so although I've said that a bunch of times now, so like this is like literally just for me plumbing the bottom of the barrel.
Fair enough. Unfortunately, I don't have any interesting facts about the Typhoon that I can just sort of rattle off the top of my head.
I don't think anyone really does. And also, yeah, taking these air-to-ground missiles,
Yeah.
good idea for the... Yeah, good idea for the first half, second half, not so much, but we'll get to that in about, like, 20 minutes.
To the unidentified Osean craft, this is Captain Carl of the Osean Army. Are you here for the escort? You're not the squadron I was expecting. Are you really friendlies? Over.
This is Longcaster. Airborne warning and control system for the Osean Long-Range Strategic Strike Group. Captain Carl, they're on our side.
And those two pilots we've heard about must be here too.
Okay, I hope you're right. Longcaster, are all of these really unknowns?
It's a state of civil war. The Erusian army is fighting itself. There's no guarantee the Oseans won't shoot us in this confusion.
Will image process the unknowns caught in your cams to identify friend or foe? The process will be faster if you get a close-up, well-centered image.
So yeah, here's basically the gimmick of effectively, like, the remainder of the game. Just, everything from here on out, because the satellite network is fucked and there's a Kessler catastrophe going on over our heads right now. Everything is going to be a yellow unknown target, so you're going to have to identify it manually. Because in some cases, yeah, a lot of the time it's going to be enemies, but sometimes there will even be allies mixed in amongst,
hand me that
the targets. So, basically, if you, like, blind fire on anything that is still listed as unknown, like, it's... I think you get, like, a 1 or 2 shot grace period, and then you'll just, like, automatically fail the mission.
Yeah, it's actually very punishing of blue on blue. They really do not want you shooting friendlies.
Make sure to keep track of your objective.
Which I think in this mission is actually really cool, because, like, the plot has just dialed everything up to 11. Like, it has gone completely nuts. And this kind of forces you to, in the gameplay, actually slow down a little bit and be a bit more deliberate and thoughtful.
Yeah, like there's a reason, yeah, why like Lost Hope is one of the, or Last Hope, I should say, is one of the longer missions in the game. And yeah, it is specifically because like you have to like just slow down and like you can't zip through it and just like blindly kill everything in your path because there are so many allied units out here too.
Yeah, and really there's no way to memorize which is which.
I've got kinda decent about like running through this one because like I had to do it like at least like probably 5 or so times in a row just for both like S ranks, getting the ace to spawn, and also the various medals that you get for like whole game runs, like Quicksilver, or no, it's Photon Blitz in 7, but like not a scratch, and the machine gun one.
Yeah, that makes sense. I remember having to play this mission a couple of times because of some unfortunate blue on blue incidents. Some accidental war crimes, and
oh god, yeah.
which we could talk about later. But yeah, you sort of remember where the really important groups are that you absolutely have to kill, but for the most part you do have to actually check everything on the map. But yeah, I mean, with the narrative having just gone completely to shit, it is nice to have a little bit of a break and to step back a little bit and process what the fuck just happened.
Yeah, because like there's a lot of plot dumps that go down in this mission in like the sort of calmer and quiet stretches of it.
Yeah, they also spend a lot of time, I guess, establishing a theme. It would be really unfortunate to have this kind of a mechanic on a very large Ace Combat Force size and style score attack map at some point later in the game. It would become quite tedious.
Yeah, thank God that never happens.
Warning, enemy has a bead on you.
There's a vehicle up ahead. Think it's gonna ask us to pay.
Also, yeah, that should have been a mid-air collision.
That's fine, you had plenty of room.
We archived all the footage that we've shot when the communication networks come back online.
We need to remind everyone that there's no such thing as a clean war.
Target in gun range.
Check on me. Silent.
Also, yeah, like one thing I really appreciate about like on a like just a meta narrative level, like as you can see, like in the like what's sort of happening along here is like the Erusians are still actually rather like well coordinated, but like there was like you could have seen it about a minute or so ago. There was a group of Osean like friendly targets that I ID'd, and before they all turned blue, they were shooting at each other.
This is a white net they've cast. We really don't want the
Yeah, that's actually a really cool thing that does happen in this mission, is like they genuinely lean into the IFF thing. And yeah, like as you say, on a meta-narrative level, it's like this series is predicated, like literally since its inception, it has always been an unchallenged assumption that you will have perfect IFF.
Yeah, and this is the one game so far that just takes that concept and not only tweaks it, but just flips the table over on it.
Yeah, about fucking time, really.
Like, and they lay it on super thick, too, that the twist is coming. Like, I did, Mission 2 with Shinjobi the other day, and just, like, the game, like, flat out starts with them just saying, like, oh, you know, don't worry about IDing targets, the IFF is perfect, you never have to worry about that, hint, hint.
Yeah, it's something they've never called attention to in any of the prior games. But it's interesting because the games have thematically sort of dabbled with not being able to tell who the real enemy is. But this is the first time mechanically they've really...
We'll be in arm's reach of the rendezvous in Grunder Park.
Yeah, that they have done something like this because, like, in the run-up to its release, like, Kazutoki Kono and, like, the Project Aces crew was basically saying, like, this game, like, from the ground up thematically was basically based around the idea of, you know, perception versus reality and, you know, fiction versus truth and, like, just the veracity of the information that you're actually receiving and, you know, to...
What a weirdly timely game, huh?
Oh, I know, just basically, like, okay, like, something that you believe is true, like, the rest of the world either believes is false or has has evidence that it's false.
Search within the Erusian Flight Test Center by at least 10 years.
Also, yeah, here's the plot dump.
Former ace pilot to create drone AI, but to us it's no different than magic or alchemy. Airplanes are meant to be flown by human beings. Those of you listening in, am I wrong? We're heading towards Grunder Park. Rendezvous point is a helipad on this...
So yeah, that was Kazutoki Kono just filibustering there through Labarth.
Remember, kids, autonomous weapons are bad.
I mean, he's not wrong.
No, he really isn't.
Like, yeah, that is a genie where once you pop the cork on it, it is never going out or is never going back into that bottle. And I think, yeah, that is one of the things that this game really does well, is just the, like, you know, hammering home the message of just, like, yeah, think before you start unleashing the shit, because it can get away from you very quickly and kill everyone, not just the people you want to die.
Got a bad feeling.
Yeah, and yeah, that is a big part of the ethical debate around autonomous weapons. I mean, I say ethical debate, but like 90% of anyone who knows anything about machine learning and autonomous anything is like, yeah, no, don't do weapons.
Like there's a short film, it's on YouTube that like I watched like earlier this year, like late last year. It's called, I think, like Murder Bots or something. And it's basically, yeah, just like exploring like the unintended consequences of like not just the development of like automated warfare, but just what happens when that automation inevitably gets away from you.
Yeah, I mean, imagine those Google that Google image identification thing that identified black people as monkeys, except it's in a weapon.
Yeah, and it's basically just like, like it ultimately gets to the point of just like these swarms of drones that like are about, you know, the size of a USB stick that have like a shaped C4 charge in them that can just like zip right up to a person's forehead and just slam into it, and it's like twice the power of a gunshot. And yeah, like the climax basically like involves like the control like technology and the operating system leaking online, so that literally anyone had the capacity to make them and control them and just sick them on any target that you wanted to. So it winds up with like, you know, half of the US Senate getting wiped out by a drone swarm, and then just, you know, colleges and universities like just having their classrooms invaded by like these little tiny like murder bots because like a couple of people are part of like some student group that someone disagrees with ideologically enough that yeah, they just want to up and fucking kill them.
School shootings turned up to 11, I suppose.
Yeah.
Prepare to fire on a moment's notice. almost reached the container area. Watch out for enemy ambushes.
Understood. System failures caused friendly fire incidents among Ocean forces. There are even rumors of penal units turning on their former allies.
Yeah, so there's your one hint that Bandog was probably murdered by the rest of the 444 Squadron at some point in between here and the fall of Farbanti.
Rip Bandog, you were a terrible character.
Along with those trying to...
I mean, Bandog was fucking awesome, but yeah, no, he was a terrible person.
That's true. A good character, but a terrible person.
Yeah. I mean, hell yes, Full Band deserved to die, and I hope he burns in hell. With all due apologies to Joe Zija.
Targets in machine gun range.
I mean, it's interesting to turn that whole concept of the AWACS being exactly, you know... Again, it's that whole thing of perfect information and perfect friends and all that sort of stuff, but it flips on its head right from the start.
Yeah, it's like... You are literally, like, dealing with someone who has complete control over all the information that you're seeing. And yeah, they can manipulate it in any way that they want to, and in this case, yeah, no, they can just, like, tag one of your friendlies as an enemy, and, yeah, just say, yo, oh, there's one more enemy left, go kill him. Oops, that was an accident.
Fire, we can't hold off!
Yeah.
But then again, that is what tends to happen when you openly blab to committing treason on a military channel.
I mean, normally you get court-martialed first, but if you're already in prison having been court-martialed...
Coming up on a time. Split up until we reach the exit.
Also, a nice touch there, those ground forces were actually shooting at you until they were identified as friendly.
Yep.
So you can't even count on, oh, they're shooting at me, they must be enemy. They're just as blind as you are.
Yep. Oh yeah, and I love that it lures you into like trying to take a shot at them too. But also, yeah, there's the other big plot dump.
Can't ignore a story like that, right, Trigger? Even in a time of war, it was a mistake to create something like a fuel unit. So?
Oh gee, you fucking think?
No, really?
But yeah, this is basically just confirmation that Trigger in fact did not kill Harling. It was an Erusian drone that snuck into the IUN formation and did the deed for them.
The General's day.
The General's a real celebrity. Seems everyone wants to meet him.
ID is Ocean forces.
How'd you last long, Caster? We've been reading it. We're here.
So yeah, here's the infamous Anchorhead tunnel that's become quite famous online for people trying to like do plane races through it and make it through the curve unscathed.
Nice.
Target acquired.
Knowing some of the Ace Combat 7 footage, I've seen someone's probably done it like upside down and sideways using the
Oh yeah, like it wouldn't surprise me if like someone has like post-stall maneuvered all the way through.
Yeah,
it, and, like, the plane is like pointing in the wrong direction all the way through it.
yeah.
Officers from countries annexed by Erusea have taken multiple groups and declared independence.
Glad we waited. Don't worry, we won't let anybody through after this.
Almost at the rendezvous, in the rear of the others. Understood.
The radicals truly believe boosting drone productions will make up for our losses. They should be taking responsibility for the capital's fall, but instead they're prolonging the war. That is why proper conservatives like myself are moving to regain control. If all goes well, we should be able to sign a truce with Erusea quickly.
Proper conservatives.
Yes. I was gonna say, how can you tell this is a Japanese game where the conservatives are the good guys?
We've reached the rendezvous point. There's the chopper too.
Well, I mean, I could probably see an American game being like, oh no, it's up to moderate conservatives to save us all.
Oh god, yeah, this good old almighty centrism.
So now that we're like 3/4 of the way through this video, should I probably introduce myself?
If you want.
Hi, I'm Makrond. I did the entire Ace Combat Assault Horizon LP that never got seen.
Yep. So this is basically my apology.
This plane is carrying civilians. We have escort fighters, but we do not intend to engage in combat. Please stand down.
I mean, for what it's worth, you did some incredible work on it, but it's just unfortunately, yeah, I kind of sat on it for years, and by the time it finally got to the point of being anywhere close to being done, I just decided, like, no.
Yeah, no, that's cool. I mean, I've still got the videos. I could upload them as a long play somewhere. I'm just far too lazy to actually commentate them.
We've checked footage. It does seem to be a
I know, like, I felt so guilty for this, like, especially, like, just for all the people that I dragged into it, too, and just, like, for it to, like, you know, like, it's never going to see the light of day at this point.
liaison.
That's the aircraft Gorgon told me about. The scratches.
Also, yeah, just making sure that I fly within line of sight of Schroeder's plane so that line makes sense.
Military down the wrong path.
Wait, unknowns attacking the girl's plane.
Rip.
Longcaster, permission to engage.
Negative.
What?
It could be Ocean fighters. ID them ASAP.
Shit.
That's all we can do.
One thing you may have noticed, if you were paying attention, is that
Trigger, what the hell are you doing?
your third-person camera is actually what's... Ooh.
Yeah, this is where, again, just poor communication and
Be a transport with escorts.
like,
This craft is carrying civilians.
like not paying attention and disparity of information basically came into a play, like,
I'm sure I don't need to.
unfortunately, like, yeah, I forgot to realize that there were actual proper enemies in the game, so I thought this was the point in the game when the plot twist was happening, so yeah, I opened fire on the allied drones and it's a mission failure. But anyways, you were mentioning about the third-person camera.
Yeah, so the third-person camera is actually the reference point for
Wait, unknowns
what
attacking the girl's
is
plane.
Hold on tight.
Longcaster.
is actually the reference point for your identification. So when they say they're using your infrared cameras to identify targets, they actually mean your camera, the player's camera.
Really?
Yeah, so you can actually, as you see, when you put the target camera on them by holding Y or triangle or whatever, it will identify them, even if they're behind your plane.
Jeez, yeah, no, I did not know that, actually.
Yeah, it's a nice touch. It does make these a little bit easier.
I know, like, I had kind of a suspicion of it because, like, there are certain points when, like, it just kind of gives you, like, the identification, but, yeah, no, that's a really interesting fact to bring up. But yeah, so here's the point in the game where, taking all the air-to-ground missiles, really screws you over.
Yeah, I think with this mission it's probably better to bring the air-to-air missiles because, like, firing air-to-ground ordnance willy-nilly can very quickly lead to a mission failure.
Yep.
Target hit.
Then again, with this one, if you go through and you identify everything really quickly, the 8 AGMs also kind of trivialize the mission once, like, you have all your targets in range and, like, you can just take them out all at once.
That is true.
So, like, there are just so many varying ways that you can run this mission, and all of them are valid.
Good work. All hostile aircraft eliminated. The liaison is safe. Wait.
The escort fighter is... The drive. They're missing the drive.
What the hell? You gotta be kidding me. Liaison escort has a radar lock. They're targeting you guys.
What the hell? We were just helping them.
Erusian aircraft, this is AWACS Longcaster. Do not engage the liaison. Break off now.
Can you hear me on this channel, Ocean craft? Those escort aircraft are drones. They are currently being operated autonomously. They are not being controlled by anyone. They are flying on their own volition. What?
In that case, we have no choice but to shoot the aircraft down.
Unfortunately, yes.
We did what we could. Weapons free. We're cleared to attack the escort.
Welcome. Understood.
Wilco.
Hey, it's not our fault there wasn't a reason. Why?
Oh no, the autonomous drones are attacking people they shouldn't, and there's no way to put that genie back in the bottle.
Yep. Who could have seen this coming?
They must be accessing it remotely. Who's behind this?
Additional hostiles inbound. Great timing.
Son of a bitch.
No. The escort must have used its remote activation rights to gain more allies. Clever.
Why would you even make that a thing, you dumbass?
Exactly what the autonomous drone needed. Ways to recruit more drones.
Yeah, like... Yeah, let's give the AI remote hacking capabilities. That will never bite us in the ass.
Let's give it the ability to call reinforcements without any human intervention.
Yep. Although yeah, something that I read in the Ace Combat 7 thread in games the other day was that like there's a theory going around about like the drones that show up in Faceless Soldier and how like the Arsenal bird just like starts just shitting Helios missiles at the area, and like meanwhile like tabloids going like man, don't they care about the pilots? Why are they attacking this area with the, you know, when they have allies here? Like people were theorizing that like the drones that attack you at the end of Faceless Soldier were actually just autonomous drones that have gone off the rails and just like went rogue. And so, like, Erusea just decided to just completely erase the area with, like, the Arc Bird, or the Arsenal Bird, to cover up all the evidence.
Huh, interesting. I might have to replay that mission with that theory in mind, because... Yeah.
I mean, it makes a hell of a lot of sense when you think about it that way.
Definitely. I mean, it could also just be, you know, hey, they're drones, they're expendable, but...
Yeah, like, and that's the thing about the game, like, it's both theories are valid, and it's like, flip the coin in your head and see what way it comes up.
Yeah, both theories are valid, and both sort of present different sides of the whole ethical coin of autonomous weaponry. Which is this idea of turning war into something where you have expendable assets.
Strata 1, target acquired.
Which suddenly makes war a lot more palatable, really.
Yeah. Except when those expendable assets are turned loose against, you know, like, actual real people, so there are still human and material losses involved.
Fox 2.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, and then, like, what happens when it just becomes drone versus drone at that point, too?
Well, also, what happens when you have the firebombing of Dresden, but it's a drone?
Yeah. And it's just going off of, like, some algorithm that some guy wrote instead of, like, anyone's direct orders.
Yeah.
Like, again, like, I love the fact that, like, you know, this is, like, just some dumb game about, like, fighter planes with infinite missiles and just, you know, everything is solved with, you know, again, one guy in a fighter plane, and yet it is still smart enough to ask the big questions like that.
General, the Osean aircraft is here to pick us up. The approaching Osean aircraft.
Losing his army? Elaborate. They stole our sealed orders. It should be a piece of cake.
Are you sent by the General's staff? No, we'd like you to send... No! I can't!
There are 3 scratches.
What does that mean?
The tail of that plane.
I love that fake out on the end briefing screen.
Yeah, they really just love driving home that everything is fucked.
And it's the only time that this ever happens too. Like,
yeah, but again, it's the perfect time to do it.
I mean, I know it was chaos, but still.
Also, yeah, that entire mission was pointless. He dies anyway. Rip.
We have no idea
Yep.
what the plan for going forward. All we can do for now is watch our
and it's fun too because, like, if you listen to, like, the dialogue and the audio,
He's still alive, since we can hear
like,
him
over the
alive.
course of the mission, like, you can actually see that twist coming where just Labarth takes it because, like, again, no one really knows what the fuck is going on, so people think that he's a fake.
Nice. But yeah, I do enjoy the way that sort of the narrative and the mechanics and the themes of this entire game just come together in this mission. It's really a high point of this game for me.